Hey everybody. Hey everybody, how you doing? Hope you enjoyed our NFL draft coverage. And so now I have some breaking news, and I'll just go and play it right where it lays. The Athletics did not hire Galatioto Sports Partners, and Goldman Sachs is still in play. The news from the LA Times Bill Shaikin, and that's actually the gentleman who wrote this piece with the LA Times, as you can see right here, is that Athletics hire investment banker to secure 500 million in private financing, and then he goes on to report that the Oakland Athletics have taken another significant step toward Nevada retaining a major player in sports finance to broker a deal intended to provide team owner John Fisher with 500 million toward a new ballpark on the Strip. Las Vegas legislators last June approved $380 million in public funding toward the estimated $1.5 billion cost of the ballpark, with the A's responsible for the balance. In other words, the rest of the $1.5 million. But access to the public money requires disclosure of financing plan for the balance of the cost. It also requires approval by Major League Baseball. Keep that in mind. The A's, he reports, have hired Galatioto Sports Partners to attract an investor or several to put in that 500 million in exchange for a share of ownership, according to people familiar with the matter, not authorized to speak publicly about it. Okay. Now he goes and he says the firm has worked on more than 100 sports financing deals. That's true. And the firm's website describes founder Sal Galatioto as the industry's leading sports banker. When Walt Disney Company sold the Angels and Mighty Ducks, Galatioto brokered the deals. Fisher has thought a minority interest in the A's for months. Stephen Hill, the chairman of both the Las Vegas Stadium Authority and the president of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, told legislatures that's all passed. Okay. Now, let me explain to you what the actual truth is. All right. Because that's not it. And basically, the truth is that GSP was not hired at all. And to a lot of my friends, it came as a complete surprise. And if anybody knows Galatioto Sports Partners, the first thing you know is that Sal is not out there trumpeting his horn saying, hey, I got hired by the A's. Sal's been around the block too many times to even need to do that. He is a quintessential New York investment banker. Okay. So you're not going to find him doing that, or nothing close. All right. And anybody who claims to be close to the deal is simply at this point lying. All right. I'm just giving it to you straight. No chaser. The people out there that are putting this information out are not going to like it, but I don't care. Because look, the real information is actually just the opposite. It simply is. And so that's not the way this happens. All right, at all. So what is true? One moment, please. I want to make one little adjustment in something, because all right, right here. Okay, so this is not the first time this sort of misinformation has happened. All right, period. And I need to make an adjustment. And look, I'll apologize to Bill Shaikin for saying he didn't list his sources. He did say he had sources, but so did Terry Lefton in his claim of talking to industry insiders, when he said that last fall, December 23rd, I believe it was, that the Oakland 18th, that the Oakland A's were going to hire CAA Sports to handle their naming rights and sales, only to have the Athletics come forward earlier this year and say, hey, by the way, we hired legends. All right. So what was being put out here, once again, is just a bunch of rubbish. And I'm saying that straight out. Where the situation is that the Las Vegas Stadium Authority is still working on the documents in the same way they did for the Raiders, that would then go through the approval processes, and the groundbreaking will occur after the groundbreaking will occur at some point far before the non-relocation agreement is signed, and the timetable right now is with respect to the bond issue. They want to get the non-relocation agreement approved so that they can actually go ahead and let the bond issue as soon as possible. That will happen. But they also need to restructure the entire Las Vegas Stadium Authority so that the A's ballpark has its own budget system. In other words, with its own fund, basic fund or general fund, its waterfall fund from the dollars that are expected to come in, not just with respect to the 17 different sources of revenue that are in the stadium district that will feed into the bond issue of 120 million, but also suite sales monies that would then be calculated, which, hey, barring any kind of need, could also go to become an additional payment source. I'm not saying it's going to be necessary, but it could be structured that way. The point is, all this is being built. The bottom line is that sports financings take time, and there are people who are, for reasons of dead air and media, trying to put out fake news, fake stories, and this happens consistently with the athletics project. And this subject is no exception. Bill is subject to Bill Shaikin is apparently subject to the same kind of maladies that beset Terry Lefton by the same industry sources that claim to have knowledge of this, which caused him to say that CAA Sports was in the driver's seat for the naming rights matter, when in point of fact, there was no decision made at all last fall. And this year, the A's came up and said, hey, we selected Legends, which really is logical because Legends has generated $600 million naming rights deals. For example, for Legion Stadium, for SoFi Stadium, they've set records, okay? Lucy says here, I'm so confused. I've been hearing from the people that the A's aren't coming at all. What is fact? What is fiction? This whole relocation process. The fact is, Lucy, that you're hearing stuff from people who don't want it to happen, fueled by the Oakland mayor's office, which is actually paying people to put out fake news. And you've got, on the other side, a bunch of people that simply do not talk to the press and are not accustomed to putting their information out in the business of the public, but they are the people who get these things done, okay? And so you have Flotsam and Jetsam over here talking, all right, reality over here, like, you know, the Chris Daly types who think that they know but have no idea, versus the people who actually do these financings and understand that it takes a lot of people are involved in this. It's not just investment bankers, it's financial advisors, economists, lawyers, a lot of paperwork, and they have to go through an approvals process, and it takes time. There are people who want to rush the whole process, and by putting out this fake news through social media, and they are, you know, they're not causing a giant problem, but they are causing a problem that is essentially annoying. All right. There's no truth to what was reported at all. And Goldman Sachs is not out of the picture. More than likely, Goldman Sachs will work with Sal and others on it. And even then, it is all secret. You know, there's this idea that this information this side of the ledger has to be public. It doesn't. All right, because the players are private sector. This is not like the Nashville situation with the Titans, where the government of Tennessee forked over the lion's share of the money combined with the city of Nashville, and have a little tiny wording that basically says that, hey, any cost overruns the state will pay for into the future. That's written in there, okay? You don't have that situation here. So in their situation, they have to be absolutely open and everything else. In the athletic situation, because of the nature of the players being private, they don't. It was the same with the Raiders situation. Hopper says, the Vegas Stadium looks like a pretty straightforward project, even if the cost of capital goes way up. The project's net present value or internal rate of return should make this quite attractive. I agree with that one to a point. There's a limit there, but yeah, whatever. I think you're right. George says Tropicana gets demolished in October. There are no less than 3 lawsuits against public funding being used to build the stadium. Those are fact, just not fake news. Well, wait a minute, but you're not making any sense. Okay, you're spitballing. You said the Tropicana gets demolished in October for what? To build a ballpark. And then you're saying there are these 3 lawsuits, but the nature of the lawsuits is such that they're press oriented. Let's take the Nevada Supreme Court. It's the court of last resort. Do you realize what the success rate of an appeal is at the Nevada Supreme Court or Supreme Courts of last resort at this stage? 12%. All right, which 66% is a sure thing. So it's a sure thing they're going to fail. Now, statistics aside, why will they fail? Because their argument is that, well, look, if this tiny little sliver of land doesn't produce enough money to cover a $120 million bond issue, then the whole state has to pay for it. And that's not true, okay, at all. And what they're ignoring, because I guess they don't like to do math, are magnitudes. This is not a bond issue that pays for the entire stadium. Is 120 million with an annual debt service by one scenario of just 8 million. Okay, you can cover that alone with a ticket surcharge if you wanted to, or it may very well be that the A's may discover that, hey, you know what? We're looking at $757 million in year 1 or better, and we can cover that front end and move back. There are a number of scenarios that'll take place because of the move that they're about to make to this area. And now I'm not saying that everything is super rosy, but if you take a look at the attendance, it is. Beware of what you read. All right. Why? Because, for example, Seeking Alpha, which is a great publication, has a wildly erroneous bit of news out that decline in sports impacted Caesar Entertainment revenue performance. But you read the actual article, it's Caesar's digital. And the report says that record occupancy due to the Super Bowl in Las Vegas really drove a positive outcome for revenue from Caesars from that perspective. Caesars digital had a problem with sports, but that was digital. That was online traffic. All right. So that title that they wrote up there, whoever wrote it, they ought to be fired for it. It was really not true at all. And Alex Flopjack says Alexander Marks is a hypocrite. I don't know the man. He says he wants to stop the ballpark happening in Vegas for schools. Yet I saw some pictures of him in Baltimore Camden Yards over the weekend. Ooh, really? Did you? Huh. I wonder if we can show that. Let's see here. Let me type. Maybe they're findable. Alexander Marks Camden Yards. See if any photographs come up. Images. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Hey. What is this? A crossover episode? Alexander Marks. Yeah, he's in Baltimore. Take a look at this. Ooh, okay. He's with an Oaklander. Here's Alexander Marks. Man, this is some crap, man. Take a look at this. All right. Take a look at this. All right. This is some crap. Okay. This is some crap. Share screen. All right. And then he goes down to here. Whoops, excuse me. Here. Yeah. All right. See that? There we go. All right. There we go. There's Alexander Marks wearing, is that supposed to be, it says Baltimore and then it says A. It's like he's really conflicted. What is this? Let me, this is on Twitter. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. It says I'm unable to view it because the owner views limits. Okay. The owner might do that, but let me try something here. Okay. That's me. Wait a minute. Okay, I don't need that because you know why? Who cares? I don't need the actual because I've got this one right here. All right. 2 days ago, Alexander Marks on X. All right. Go figure. Hey, what do you think, Lucy? Right? Okay. What do you think? Thanks for the tip, Flapjack. I've got to take a picture of this for another video. What a piece of work. My goodness. He's with Hal, the hot dog guy who moved to Baltimore because his wife is expecting, and he's going to be a father. Congratulations to him. But seriously, all right, seriously, okay. Anyway, Hope says, my money, pun intended, says the schools, aka scam over stadium's appeal gets denied and the ballot issue won't be on the ballot. Yeah. Lucy, I agree. Lucy says, also the A's most likely would have moved out in the future anyways due to sea level rise in California. So better happen sooner than later. Well, Dave didn't told me back in 2017 that was the reason he didn't want to build the Coliseum. And he was expecting the city of Oakland to spearhead the tax increment financing zone under SB 293 Skinner to help pay for the platform for the A's. The A's are going to put up the money up front and to get the essential payback in the back end of it, and then use also tax increment financing to pay for offsite infrastructure costs as well as community benefits. But see, the city kept heaping that on the A's. High community benefit laundry list that was just super long. They never costed out the total at all. I always asked around, what's the price tag? I asked members who went to the community meetings, do you know what this is going to cost? They never figured it out. And yet you're looking at an additional 1.2 billion, all right, billion, 1.2 billion in subsidy that was needed because the city of Oakland kept heaping these costs on the A's. And then Shane would turn around and say, well, the A's did it, and the A's never did it. In fact, I found a document dated April 23rd of last year, which was supposed to be the city's preliminary enhanced infrastructure financing district industrial financing plan. It was incomplete, all right? But it wrote in that document, Century Urban, the consultant that wrote it, explained that the costs for offsite infrastructure were calculated by the city, not the athletics. That flies in the face of the mayor's claim that the athletics were pushing these costs on the city. It's a total lie, okay? Total lie, all right? So Hoper says, my problem with sports reports is they know nothing about financing anything, therefore write on financing stadiums as if they were experts on the subject. And lay people eat it up. And what happens is that this is how fake news is spread out. And like I was having an argument with my colleagues yesterday. News is how you put it out. All right. There's no one truth at any time. The truth is ever changing because the situation is ever changing. The trick is to understand the situation and how to capture the truth at the time. All right. As opposed to saying, well, there's an absolute and I'm right all the time, when in point of fact, you're not. And this instance is the perfect environment for constantly changing situations. I don't mean in terms of whether something's going to happen or not, but how it's going to happen. These are not, this situation is something where you're going to Sears and you're going up and you're looking for this box that says Ballpark financing cereal, buy this, okay? It's not like that. Deals are called that because they are precisely that. Special agreements with party A and party B to accomplish objective C, okay? Party A is the person in monetary need. Party B is the person that has the money, or companies, or consortium, or network, or organism. Any combination of that, I don't mean like some life organism is going, yeah, no, but I mean organism of companies that come together that say, hey, look, we're going to invest, like CalPERS, we're going to invest in sports financing. So, hey, we'll put money over here in the A's ballpark in Las Vegas. Could happen. All right. Could happen. They're institutional investors. Okay. So, Lucy says, but the A's are definitely moving to Las Vegas though, right? It's a done deal, right? You know, everyone asks me that. And my point is this. Look, the deal takes time. It's not a matter of it. It's going to happen. It's slow and it's unfolding. It's not immediate. I'm sorry to break that to you, but a lot of you who claim to be A's fans and fans of Oakland sports have proven consistently you're not. Why? Because if you were truly, you would have remembered the Raiders process to the same city of Las Vegas. Okay? The same one. All right? And you all should have learned something back then. Where were you? Why weren't you paying attention? Why weren't you, hey, watching my videos talking about it, even though I was really against the deal? All right? And I learned a lot from that. What I learned was that our city doesn't have its act together in any way in that says we have the will and the initiative to complete big projects. Oakland does not have that. All right? And it's going to be a while before it regains it because the people in charge don't want it to happen. You can talk to me about interest rates. You can talk to me about high drug use in San Francisco. What I know is this, and I saw it firsthand in Detroit, where Bedrock, the firm that is owned by Dan Gilbert, who is the co-founder of Rocket Mortgage and the owner of Cleveland Cavaliers, and where my friend from Cal I had lunch with, Kobe Bonner, is the CEO, have invested billions, both in Cleveland and in Detroit, with this idea, as it was explained to me, that over lunch, that Dan Gilbert believes you put a number of different projects, building projects, active at once, and they all literally open at the same time in kind of an economic explosion, then you get revitalization. And that's what's happening in Detroit. The same thing can happen in Oakland, but what's missing is a well-heeled investor corporation that believes in Oakland and sees Oakland as its home city that it wants to revitalize. We're missing that piece. And if you look back in the history of America and economic development, where corporations have spent their money, cities have grown. That includes Oakland with Kaiser, Henry J. Kaiser, and shipbuilding, where he built a world-renowned shipbuilding concern during the war. And folks who look like me came up from the South to get jobs in Oakland, which created Oakland's healthy majority African-American population through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early aughts. And still is there today, although dwindling because of cost reasons. In fact, I argue that Jerry Brown's idea of a 10K was to make Oakland so expensive that literally he would chase African-American folks out, and arguably that has happened to a large degree. Now, to the point where we're still a substantial part of Oakland's population, but nothing like before. And then Jerry turned around and said in 2020 that he didn't want public money going into his elegant density downtown to make housing affordable. He actually said that. Okay. He actually said that. So the seeds of the expensive Oakland that have chased businesses away, dried up money, and that now aided by high interest rates, and then caused this ultra high crime rate, which I believe is also another tool for people to make money in these giant consortiums that may be nationwide. All of that started when Jerry decided he was going to kill redevelopment. Okay. Redevelopment built downtown Oakland, and redevelopment made Oakland liberal in much of California. But it's back now in terms of tax increment financing, but you have people in cities and counties who don't know how to implement it. How else to explain why it's so little used? Libby basically said that to me July 20th, of 2021, in my interview with her after her meeting with the county. Let me get your comments here, okay? Let's see here. An expert is a person who is afraid to learn anything new because he would no longer be an expert, Harry Truman. And what else is there? He says, Lucy says, do you do videos on technology use? I do. He says, she says, most mobile phone app development, etc. I was curious because I saw you were at CES Las Vegas. My son says, yes, absolutely. And then Lucy goes on, I'm sorry to hear about your son. Okay. So, and I will pray for your son as well. All right. So let's see here. So anyway, that's the news, folks. It is 5:17. I have a White House meeting at 5:30 to cyber jet off to. So thank you for your participation. And there we go. So anyway, also something else. Look at what's going on with Detroit. And I was there twice. 2006 for the Super Bowl. I drove south of downtown, dilapidated, and now those areas revitalized. Corner Ballpark, where the NFL had its play football event, was just a wonderful place. But what was most interesting about Corner was that where the brand new apartments and condominiums around it. I came believing, all right, really believing in the power of what's called the public-private partnership. Okay, and I still do. It is just absolutely incredible, absolutely incredible. Here we have. Where am I going here? Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to give you a taste of some of what I saw in Detroit on the way out. Was just absolutely magnificent, absolutely magnificent. And I want to thank the National Football League for allowing me to celebrate my 20th year. All right, 20th year. Zenny 62 Media's 20th year covering the NFL draft. Just absolutely incredible. I want you. This is
while both NetSuite and QuickBooks offer software designed to help.
I'm going to get one. Okay, there it is. I'm skipping this, and I'm going to present Rome Odunze, but for a different reason. Rome Odunze is now the Chicago Bears wide receiver. Here's Rome right here, okay? And I'm going to get rid of that one, okay? And Rome, I point to Rome because look at the background, all right? This is Mr. Odunze right here.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Yeah. Look at that building behind Rome's head is brand new. That's a brand new apartment complex right here. See that? That is brand new. Brand new. Go ahead. Okay. All right. And the other one too is right there. You see that? That's all new around there. They have redeveloped that neighborhood. I mean, that was just something else. Everywhere you look, new. And some of that is happening in Oakland, but to the degree of affordability, no, not at all. And there's a lot of, well, we can do this and we're doing this, but they're not doing it right, and they're not being inclusive where it matters the most. So, and they're doing things like pitting black folks against black folks and everything else. It's just completely racist stuff, Okay.
Hey, tell people how to pronounce your last name.
Rome Odunze.
What is that, by the way?
It's Nigerian.
Nigerian, cool.
Yes.
And your full name, middle, last?
Yeah, not first name, but middle name.
Right, but I'm saying, what's your full name? Like a middle name?
Odunze. Yeah.
That's a cool name, bro.
Thank you, man.
Hey, Rome.
Yeah.
See you back out.
All right. So there we go. All right. So there you go, folks. All right. Now I got White House and got to hurry up. All right. So thank you all very much. Live long and prosper. God bless. Oh, Lucy says, thank you. Appreciate it. Also, we can message you or my son. Yeah, by all means. I absolutely. About technology questions. Sure. Be happy to do that. All right. Okay. See everybody later. Bye-bye.